Number 2 is I think Jayden Daniels, Washington, wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, Caleb Williams has better weapons. So Jayden's going to have to move. He's going to have to run. I think that's going to play well. He's going to feel like RG3 did first year in Washington, his legs. I don't think Caleb, with all those weapons, will have to move as much. His offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, has a reputation. He's very good with mobile quarterbacks, and he was pounding the tables for Jayden Daniels. I also think, this is my opinion, the division is not as good. So I think Jayden wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Number 3 is...
Okay. Do you hear that? Colin Cowherd is saying Jayden Daniels wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. I've talked about this in a previous video, and it seems like Colin is now finally one of the first major media members to really get boldly behind Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. He's kind of been banging that drum for a little bit now, actually, which is pretty cool to see. Honestly, it really only feels like it's me and him. Obviously, I know I'm not a major media member, but I've been trying to talk to the Washington Commanders about this, their lack of media attention and belief in them, and kind of the issues that they have. I think, Jayden Daniels, I think, is absolutely, it's absolutely possible for him to win Rookie of the Year. And just, I think Washington Commanders fans need to just take a second and just absorb that, right? Be happy. Be like, oh my God, we're finally going in the right direction. We finally have something going on positively. The Commanders have been dominated by such negativity, such failures, year after year after year after year. And now that could all change in a second. I think it's absolutely going to be a battle between Caleb. My whole theory is that it's going to be significantly harder for Jayden to win because he's up against the media more than anything. The Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams have an insane amount of momentum. The whole football world desperately wants Caleb Williams to be the king. They just do. You could see it. Everything he does, they're just like, oh my God, Patrick Mahomes. They just do that again and again and again. Jayden Daniels does not have that same level of momentum. The whole NFL is not trying to be like, we want Jayden to be great. They are all holding hands and coming together for Caleb. That's just a reality. I mean, you can see that. Just go to, FS1, Fox, ESPN, any of these things, and you'll just see. It's just Caleb Williams. I mean, it's just endless segments on Caleb Williams. It just is. You get some Jayden Daniels, of course, nowhere near on the level. And even on the herd, oh gosh, I forget his name right now. But he kind of talked about this. He's another major media member, and he talked about how badly the NFL want, and Colin has talked about this directly. And again, these guys have the information that we don't. They know what the ratings are. They're having the actual conversations with the people who run these massive media companies. So they know. They're not just making this stuff up. Colin has consistently said the NFL desperately wants the Chicago market, that it is massive. It's like the third largest market in the country. And so having the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams playing great is just great for ratings. It's great for money and business. Colin even went as far and said that Caleb Williams, that the NFL needs him to kind of save them from they're going to get a ratings lull because of politics, because of everything that's going on over there, which we're not going to ever talk about here because this is politics free zone. And he said, he's like, listen, he goes, my ratings, now this Colin speaking, like my ratings are going to are going to hurt. He's like, I've been doing this for like 30 years. Like election cycles can hurt ratings, especially considering this election cycle, because it's, obviously in more recent times, things have been very, very intense politically. And he said, what can really save the NFL from the ratings lull for those first couple months is going to be Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams if they're great, not Jayden Daniels, right? That is the uphill battle that Jayden Daniels has. I think Caleb Williams, if he just ties his shoes, before the game. They're going to be like, do you see the way he ties his shoes? He's just so dedicated. He ties his shoes. He's so thoughtful. And he just focuses on the little details. And it's like, all right, let's relax. So I think the Commanders will have to really be rolling, and Jayden Daniels will have to really be rolling. I think both teams have a true shot at getting into the playoffs, and I think, listen, if one of those two teams does something crazy like win the division, which I do think if the Washington Commanders win the division, that would surprise me. Although I do think that they have true potential to be better than the Cowboys and of course the Giants, I do not think that they're going to be better than the Eagles. I think outside of the Eagles continuing to be kind of a disaster from the end of last season, I think the Eagles should be significantly better. But again, you never know. The Commanders, even when they weren't really that great last year, still played the Eagles very well. But I would say if one of those two teams, Jayden obviously or Caleb, if they end up winning the division, that will be a huge, massive boost to their Rookie of the Year, winning that. But if they both don't and they're both fighting for the wild card, then it will probably maybe, largely come down to who can steal that wild card, right? It'll be hard if the Chicago Bears sneak in the, in the 7th seed in the wild card and the Commanders don't, that you're now going to give the Rookie of the Year to Jayden, right? So I think that'll be a huge part of it as well. I think Colin's overblowing the whole running of Jayden and that he's going to have to just be a runner and Caleb won't. Like, I don't think it needs to be that. I really don't. Again, I've said this a lot now. Yes, Jayden can be a great runner, but I just don't know if that's a trajectory that they're trying to bring quarterbacks on. Like just like how we keep seeing the quarterback position evolve, I just don't think that when we get these new young quarterbacks who are mobile, that when they come into the league, that the goal is just to have them run. I don't think people are trying to have that RG3 rookie season. I don't think they're trying to turn quarterbacks into Lamar Jackson anymore. They're trying to turn everyone into a Patrick Mahomes. Because that right now, until we kind of see that quarterback position evolve again, right now, that is the quarterback that you want. Someone who is mobile, but isn't run first. Someone who can actually sit and win in the pocket, right? Someone whose foundation is their accuracy, their ability to throw the ball, their ability to check the ball down, throw the ball downfield, throw for 5 yards, like all these little things. That's what it is. Not ripping for an exciting 30-yard run, not running around and extending the play for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds and then launching the ball, 30 yards. Like those are all incredibly exciting plays. But we just know from a long-term perspective, it has not always led to wins. At the very least, Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes won last year largely being a dreaded game manager. And I think people understand that more and more. So listen, I just think that we're not really sure what Jayden is going to 100% look like. I know he's still going to use his legs, but I think it would probably be more what Jalen Hurts did in 22 when they went to the Super Bowl and when he was an MVP candidate, and less than what Lamar Jackson does. Jalen Hurts definitely used his legs, and it was more than just a tush push, but it wasn't just ripping off run after run after run. It wasn't just running around in the, trying to buy time, trying to extend plays. It was when the run was there for him, he took it, and he also sat in the pocket and threw as well. Right? And he didn't have to do anything like historically from a run perspective to get there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think also Chicago, the last thing I'll say about this, and this bodes well for Jayden, is that the Chicago Bears should have a really great defense. They just should, right? They had that at the end of last season. They should continue that trend. And if they do, and Caleb Williams understands how to play complementary football, and Shane Waldron does as well, then Caleb might not be putting up these huge numbers. He might also just be doing more game management stuff, right? He might not need to win many shootouts or put up 30-plus points a game, whereas the Commanders might have to be in a situation where they're leaning more on Jayden Daniels, right? They're asking Jayden Daniels just to fundamentally do more than the Chicago Bears are asking Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams will still have some of those razzle-dazzle highlights that people are obsessed with, but I don't know if they'll have to call his number again and again and again. Whereas Jayden Daniels, they'll probably have to lean on more. And Cliff Kingsbury is more than set up to set up Jayden Daniels for those levels of success. So I'm excited to see how this unfolds. And then who knows, maybe the dark horse Bo Nix, right? I mean, that's definitely a possibility as well, especially if they quickly turn the Denver Broncos around. I mean, I think we have these young rookie quarterbacks with 3 desperate franchises. I mean, we gotta face the reality. The Commanders are desperate. The Broncos are desperate, and the Bears are desperate. If any of those quarterbacks just completely change that around quickly, I mean, like it's you're potentially in a 3-way battle here. So I can't wait. But yeah, Jayden Daniels, you absolutely can't count Jayden out. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think Jayden Daniels can or will win Offensive Rookie of the Year? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.